Hello and welcome to VHS Era. My name is Kevin Higgins, and it is now Christmas time. I am here with Taylor James Johnson, who you may know as the narrator from WTF Happened To on Joblo.com. Thank you for coming on, Taylor.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's a wonderful time of year and a wonderful time for movies. Uh, I think Christmas movies. Christmas just wouldn't be the same without Christmas movies. I don't know if that's blasphemy, but uh, that's what I always think.
Well, it depends on the movie. I'll be honest, I prefer the more edgy alternative Christmas movies. Give
Hey,
me Bad Santa or The Ref or
sure.
over any of those Hallmark movies any day of the week.
I appreciate both. That's what I like about Christmas movies is that you can get pretty messed up with them, with Krampus and stuff like that, and still have the same holiday cheer, still have the same themes. And then you can have another perfect family friendly like Home Alone, uh, which still gets a little edgy sometimes. But that's because it was the '90s, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you make a good point. Actually, speaking of that, though, now know that if you followed WTF Happened To, that you did an episode on Macaulay Culkin.
Oh yeah, oh
But
yeah.
what is your relationship like with the Home Alone franchise in general?
Man, this is more a more difficult question than I thought it would be actually. Because when you really think about it, yes, I did write and make an entire video on Macaulay Culkin and did some pretty, deep dives into his in researching his life and stuff. So I recently, I mean, I made that video in the last 2 or 3 years. I can't exactly remember, maybe. And so like I've developed this new appreciation for him as an actor in these films as a franchise, but but they were always there growing up. Like I'm a little bit younger than Macaulay. Um, so I was kind of like the perfect age for these movies because like I came into this world, and then like they're already classics. They're already sitting there on the shelf, you know. You could just watch one, two, not three yet, but I did see number three in the theaters. Uh, and I even strange thing is I looked like Macaulay Culkin, like I had the same exact haircut, when I was that age. So it was just like, um, I was like, yeah, that's me, and it was the first time you saw something, for lack of a better word, violent, in a children's Christmas movie, and you could kind of it helped develop my taste for slapstick, seeing a cartoon come to life, and with these really scary antagonists, the wet bandits, like they're terrifying. There's a part where he's like trying to bite his fingers off or something, right? Like it stays with you as a child. Like you don't forget it. I remember watching both of them over and over and over, and I went years without watching them again because they were just ingrained into my mind. And then I watched them recently, I think like last year, just because it was Christmas time and I just wanted to see them again. And they're even better than like, as an adult. The drama in there, they're heartbreaking movies, actually. They're when you watch it as a kid, you just remember the silly things and the jokes, but then when you watch it as an adult, you're like, you think about the old man and his family and what is the mother going through, and there's a whole section of the movie where he's just like, he's contemplating the meaning of family and he has to go get groceries and stuff. And I was like, this is a completely different movie than I remember, and it's even better. And I get like that's why it has lasted so long. That's why nobody talks about three Home Alone 3 or Home Alone 4 or Home Sweet Home Alone or Home Alone Heist. How many are there?
I don't know, but yeah, you make a good point that these movies have heart that Hollywood kept trying to replicate the Home Alone formula for years, but they focused more so on the slapstick, didn't really try to have the
Yeah,
heart as much, and as a result, there's like loads of these like snarky kid trying to outwit a silly adult movies that just kind of came and went from theaters that nobody talks about anymore.
yeah.
John Hughes, unfortunately, tried to replicate that success several times. And
Dennis the Menace.
yes, Dennis the
I
Menace.
I happened to recently watch that one just because I was curious because I loved that when I was a kid, and I was like, this is even more of a ripoff of Home Alone than the Home Alone movies are, you know? Yeah. What else did he do it in?
Baby's Day Out.
Oh, of course, yeah,
100 his 101 Dalmatians remake kind of becomes Home Alone with dogs by the end.
yeah,
Flubber kind of becomes Home Alone with green goo by the end.
yeah. Because well, it was a. They say this about a few movies, lightning in a bottle. It kind of they all happened during that time period where like Back to the Future, you just can't remake that, and Ghostbusters, it just worked because it happened in that time, and Die Hard and Home Alone, you know, Home Alone works because of when it came out, you know. Now the technology we have, it wouldn't work. They even make commercials making fun of that. And so yeah, John Hughes was the perfect person at the perfect time with the perfect actors, and it's just like, and we're lucky that number two is good because it's like they tried to recreate. It's the closest anyone's ever gotten to like lightning in a bottle twice. Um, and so yeah, it's just like, and then when Hollywood or an artist like John Hughes tries to do that again, and it's like it feels, even as a child you could feel, even if you didn't know what a ripoff was, or you could feel it. It was like, "Ugh." I felt that in Home Alone 3, where I was like, this is making me feel like I'm disrespecting the original artist's intent. Um, but it's the perfect formula.
Yeah.
You fall in love with these characters, and then you learn about them, and then it turns into just a complete chaos at the end, and then everyone learns their lesson. Um, and I think, yeah, you're right. They just focused on the silly moments, which are brilliant, which are wonderful, but that is not why the movie works. It's the cherry on top, I guess. And they just tried to give us plates of cherries, and you're just like, no, it has to be a full meal. And like cheese pizza.
Yeah. And it's also kind of sad because like, back in the 80s, John Hughes was sort of better at replicating his successes without it feeling as derivative. Like, he had success with adult movies, with Vacation, and, created a lot of, you know, beloved adult comedies around the time, but they didn't all feel like they were just like vacation wannabes. And
No,
even more so with teen movies like, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, like
yeah, they all
sure,
had the same soul, but they never felt like they were ripping each other off. It
yeah.
was, yeah, that he had his moment, and this was, and Home Alone was probably the last time where it really, really worked. Maybe not. Did he do anything that's like after Home Alone that is, perfect?
Uh, I mean,
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. But it
I
was like almost it felt like the end of an era, and it was a wonderful end because it was just such this huge explosion, and Hollywood had to change forever, and everyone who made it had to change forever. Some for better, some for worse, because Hollywood people started taking children's films more seriously. And some people, did it like, yeah, we were back to an era where things were family friendly and family oriented, but it wasn't lame yet. It was about to be lame, but there was this moment, and it was all because of Home Alone and Home Alone 2, where everybody could go to the theater and just completely enjoy it on different levels at the same time. And I'm sure it happens again and again, but for me, it was the Home Alone movies, which I just kept renting over and over and over. I never bought them on VHS, but they were always there, you know. It was always like it's time to rent this again. Um, but what is your relationship with this franchise, I guess?
Um, I've seen the first two. I feel I've seen bits and pieces of the third, but I don't really remember if I've seen the whole thing. I
Hmm.
mean, I do remember I did actually rewatch Home Alone, the original a couple years ago because I also covered it on I Helped Make That, and
Yeah.
I thought it held up decently. I do remember as a kid actually preferring Home Alone 2 only because there was more of the traps and slapstick than there was in the original. And that it was also just had a bigger scope, because it's New York versus just his house.
Hmm.
But I admittedly have not um, gone back and seen it as an adult. The original is the only one I've gone back to see as an adult. And yeah, again, because I don't even remember if I've watched Home Alone 3 all the way through, but I do find it amusing that Scarlett Johansson plays the new kid's sister in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first time I saw her. And then it was the man who wasn't there. And then suddenly she's a superstar. But yeah, I actually like I remember going to the theater to see Home Alone 3 and being really excited and confused because like this isn't a Home Alone 3 movie because obviously he's a little bit older, but and this is a different character, but the same thing's happening to the same like it just bothered me that it was yeah, I felt for the first time in my life like artistic integrity was going out the window, and even though like it's Home Alone 3 it's fun. I enjoyed it for what it was because it was like 1997 and whatever, and the gadgets are cool. But that's all I remember. There is no heart. There is no soul. Um, and that's the problem. That's why nobody except for us right now will ever talk about Home Alone 3 again. Uh, and Home Alone 4, I think I've only seen the poster and I was like, no way. Just another little boy going, oh, and just like a horrible Photoshop, poster. And then there's recently Disney
Yeah.
Plus. Did you see that one?
No, no, like I haven't
Did anyone see that one?
again, I don't have any memory of seeing any Home Alone movie past the second one from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, actually it's like, speaking of Home Alone 3 though, I do remember at least seeing bits and pieces of it because like it was one of those movies that my music class would play if there was a substitute or if the
Sure,
teacher didn't feel like teaching.
sure, sure.
And yeah, Home Alone 4, yeah, it says something that like you got both Missy Pyle and Eric Avari in the same movie and people still say it sucks.
Is that what it was called, like Home Sweet Home Alone? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, Home Alone
Or
4.
there's Home Alone 4. Okay, yeah. So there's Home Alone 4, and is it called Home Alone 4, or does it have?
I don't know. I don't really know anything
Me
about it
neither.
other
It seems
than
like neither.
other than again some of the actors are in it.
Yeah.
Like I know Frankie
Okay.
Stewart's in it as one of the robbers, and Missy Pyle is
Oh,
like
okay. Yeah,
also
yeah.
the
I'm
robber.
getting flashes of the trailer now from like flashbacks to my memory from my childhood. I do remember when Disney Plus was like, here's a new one, and I was like, oh no, they're going to ruin the franchise. And I was like, wait, they've already tried with Home Alone 3 and 4, and I think there's even another one called Home Alone Heist or Home Alone Holiday Heist with um who is it? Andy McDowell, or yeah, I can't remember who's
You
in
know
it.
what?
Malcolm McDowell.
I glanced at the IMDb for that once because I
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
life. And here is a funny story. I did see Debbie Mazar is in that one, and I was thinking, wait, wasn't she in the second one? And then I realized I had her confused with Dana Ivy.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, are they? Do they exist in the same cinematic universe, or are these just separate stories of separate little boys who keep getting into a very similar
Yeah.
situation?
No, I think
Um,
it's just because they're two brunettes whose names begin with D, and they're like
yeah, that had to have been it.
actresses who like show up like in a lot of movies. So that's kind of where the confusion came from. Like, oh, there's so many of them. They're just reusing actors now, playing different characters.
Yeah,
But
but
no, that's not true. That's not. Nope, different actresses
yeah,
are like
but I,
20 years
do
apart.
you do you like or do you agree with how the direction they took with Home Alone 2? Like bringing back the same bandits in a similar situation but different. Do you like that? Because I know people who like that and people who hate that, and I go back and forth because it was like, oh, they're just redoing the same thing. Even the pigeon lady is an exact that her story arc basically is the same as the old neighbor man. Or was it just so good because it was the same but a little bit more? Uh, it falls on this perfect line for me.
Yeah. Again, I'd have to revisit it as an adult to
True, true.
really think about that. Again, my mind as a kid was just more thinking like, oh, it's bigger. There's like more locations, so
Yeah,
there's like more he can really do, like more, there's more, there's like more like room for inventiveness for all the gadgets and things he can,
yeah,
to stop Harry and Marv. So I wasn't really focused so much on how it was trying to copy the beats of the original.
yeah, yeah. But
Uh,
they do it well. Like it shouldn't work because I watched it recently and like Home Alone 2 shouldn't work. It should, but it falls on it does what Die Hard 2 does, but even better.
yes.
You know what I like about Home Alone 2 is you get a little more time, or you get a little bit more, you learn a little bit more about Kevin's relationship with his family. There's like this wonderful bullying scene from his brother in the beginning in their choir, and I kind of, as I was watching it, I kind of was like, I didn't want him to be home alone. I was like, no, stay with, I want to see like a movie with Kevin and his family because the dynamic was so wonderful that I was like, no, don't go to the airport. Just stay here for a little bit. And then they go to the airport and he gets lost again, and it's like, and it still works. Um, but they do have to reference, or the characters have to acknowledge, like maybe you'll get your wish again this year, Kevin. I want to go on vacation alone. Well, last year we know what happened. And the mom even faints when she was like, "Where's Kevin? Oh no, it's the same thing because I that is true to life. Things happen. Things can happen twice. It's not too unbelievable.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
will say that, as I've grown older, I've become less tolerant towards sequels that just kind of act like stealth remakes of the original.
Mm-hmm.
Die Hard 2 is like one of the exceptions to the rule, actually. But, again, I'm open to I'm open to revisiting it, as an adult, seeing if like
Yeah,
it still succeeds because of that.
check
And
it out.
yeah, speaking of, like, now it is time for to look at the VHS openings
Oh man.
and see if the VHS openings are all good or if they're like the movies themselves and they just get, to some people, worse and worse with each installment. But we're only going to be focusing on the 90s movies. And by that, I just mean the early 90s movies.
So what are we watching first?
Come on, everybody, sing along.
Home Alone, you trick them every way. Oh, what fun it is to see two burgers get found there.
Home Alone, the Christmas gift of the year. $24.98 or $5 less with Pepsi rebate.
Now, wasn't that fun?
Rated PG.
Just beyond your dreams, there is a secret world where every sound is a song, every tree a home, and humans exist only in fairy tales. Until now.
Are you really a human?
Last time I checked.
This is a tale of a magical place where high-flying creatures
I'm blind! No! I can see! It's a miracle!
will reach deep into your heart.
I'm Zach.
I'm Krista.
20th Century Fox invites you to witness the wonder.
This is so incredible!
Spread the word
How can you live without trees?
and plant the seed to save a place called Ferngully, the last rainforest.
Yeah, I will say, so funny story. Ferngully was actually supposed to come out in November, like I think November or December of 1991, which
Hmm,
is why they had the trailer for it on the Home Alone VHS.
sure.
But unfortunate, but like I think they had like some other kids movies were coming out around the same time, and they didn't want to compete. So they
Hmm.
moved it all the way over to 1992, which is a common thing that happens on VHSs.
Yeah.
He'll have a movie that's supposed to be coming out like in a month or two that they'll put on the VHS and then they delay the release at the last minute because they realize there's going to be some competition. The animation is beautiful. Yeah, the animation
Gorgeous.
looks like it holds up. I will,
Definitely.
yeah, I will say like the score is, at least the trailer score, is not Alan Silvestri's best work. I don't know why it kind of to adult me sounds a little cheap in comparison to his usual work.
I mean, yeah, it's not as complex, but it works for a trailer enough just because it's just a subtle slight and while watching the trailer I'm mostly focused on the visuals there just like glowing and the score kind of just elevates that up slightly um but it is a wonderful choice for Home Alone because it's different but it is the same audience and because yeah I remember that's a wonderful double feature. I had those were the types of movies that you'd rent at the same time. My little sister would rent Ferngully, and I would rent Home Alone, and just to open the the Home Alone VHS with Ferngully, it gets you in the mood. We've lost that art of the trailers setting the mood, setting because now we just click play and Home Alone starts, right? But this time, like you have to turn the lights down. For you could fast forward through them, but if it's your first time renting it or buying it, you sit through it, and that's why I like this show. It's like you're recreating that moment of what used to happen in the '90s, the pre-show, which exists at the movies, but now that you have intercut with Pepsi commercials, and it's just a wonderful, beautiful form of marketing that turns into an art. And yeah, Ferngully, the perfect band to open for the Home Alone concert.
Yeah,
Um,
I do agree that it's a good choice. You want to open, what's already the most popular kids movie with what you're hoping is your next big popular kids movie. It
yeah,
makes sense on a marketing on a marketing, side of things. Um,
definitely. And it's
and
also different enough, so it doesn't
yeah,
like take away. It's like, oh, another Christmas movie. No, it's like it's different enough to say like, look, we offer more, and you're gonna like this stuff too. It's the perfect pick.
yeah, and it's also funny looking back because like Ferngully was not like a huge hit when it first came out, but it's kind of
It
grown.
was in my house. I didn't realize later, that like,
Yeah.
oh, this isn't a classic, but yeah, it was constantly playing in my house. But looking back, like, yeah, it does get overshadowed.
Yeah, it's grown like a cult following over time to the point where like when the first Avatar came out, several
Yeah,
people were calling it a ripoff of
yeah,
Ferngully.
yeah. And
Uh,
and you know what? Because of Fern Gully, we got we got Robin Williams in Aladdin. This was like his being that bat was kind of his like test run for the genie. Kind of like he's gonna play around with the voice, and then so Ferngully, like whether you like it or not, like it needs to be honored and respected for what it inspired, what it influenced, from James Cameron to Robin Williams, and even just the jungle animation. I'm sure Lion King and other Tarzan, other Disney things probably took from Fern Gully, but now they own it, right? Now
yeah, they
now
do.
it is technically a Disney movie.
Yeah, but I was also about to say though, there's also something, kind of funny there, like that it was more sort of it's more sort of grown like something that just kind of ed out in theaters and then
Yeah,
kind of grew a cult following. Like it is sort of funny looking back, like it may not have had like Fox, it may not have had the cultural impact Fox was looking for at the time, but it
no,
is sort of like a cult hit is, opening up the VHS for a huge hit
yeah,
almost.
yeah.
Um,
And
but
you know what?
yep.
It's cooler that it's a cult hit, because it's like when you meet somebody who's seen, like, oh, you grew up watching Fern Gully too, or oh, you grew up watching Monster Squad or whatever. You kind of you make a connection with that person. Like, okay, we had a similar childhood, I guess. So we understand certain things because everybody's seen The Lion King, everybody's seen Toy Story, but it's like, but have you seen Fern Gully? Have you seen this? But yeah, what else do we got on the Home Alone thing? I don't
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know if I have any because yeah, like Fern Gully, they open it up, boom. Now, what sets the mood even more for your viewing pleasure of Home Alone? Let's see here.
American Airlines is proud to be a partner in the video release of Home Alone. American salutes the many families who have made American Airlines something special in the air.
yeah, I think I kind of
Oh,
a that's kind of an ironic company to promote Home Alone with. I think they know that's ironic and that's why they partnered up with them. I
yeah,
guess I'll at least give them credit for using a for like filming news just filming this scene with just a family talking to this airline stewardess. You know that might seem like it's something that took an hour to shoot, but it probably took hours, like anything
is
even the smallest.
okay. I
uh
maybe like is it maybe I'm just like glazed over. I didn't like pay attention, but like I just assumed that was the McAllister family.
I
It wasn't,
I
or
think
was
it was supposed to be, but the stewardess is, I think,
uh-huh.
an actress. That's
Okay, because I just assumed like it was just a clip from from Home that they just used. But like, do you think? I don't know. Do you
You know,
like? Is it a actual clip? Because of course, I've seen the movie a million times, but I'm like, I don't know if I remember that. And yeah, did they shoot that, or did they just take a bit from the movie and turn it into a commercial? Both would be interesting, from a marketing point of view. But yeah, I just assumed that it was like just a clip from the movie, and then they just end it.
well,
Um, but I don't know anymore.
you know, I don't know, but I get the feeling we're going to be watching something similar later on
Oh,
today.
okay, okay.
I don't want to spoil it for the audience,
Sorry.
but whatever you said might be what they do
Okay.
on an next time.
Oh, well, because like what you were saying is like this is a very interesting way to promote this movie, a very interesting company to pick because it's them saying like American Airlines, we get it, we have a sense of humor, and that works. It's like yeah, they're cool, I like them, and I'm not so much sure on like Home Alone 1, but Home Alone 2, you can blame the airport for the mix-up that goes on there. So yeah, maybe they're trying to just cover their tail here and be like, we get it, we're just playing around, like, or they don't get it, and that's even more hilarious. Of like, y'all screwed up here. You need to not just lit a little boy on a plane to New York just because he says that's my dad in the jacket. Like that's why it happens. He just confuses a guy wearing the same jacket as his dad, gets on the wrong flight or whatever, and I blame American Airlines. So, but I forgive them for this hilarious advertisement. So yeah, yeah. What's up next?
Yeah, because honestly, there's not much to say. It's a pretty short ad.
What makes you cool is your attitude, your inner self. It's not the way your hair is cut. It's not the clothes you wear. Not the clothes. It's not what you drink. You got that right. You got Pepsi for me? Who knew?
Oh my
That's
God.
charming in in a cheesy early 90s way.
I loved it. I couldn't
Yeah,
help like bob my head, and you know what, like, to me, yeah, little boy Taylor, like that was, you don't get any cooler than those two guys right there. It was like I saw that, I'm like, I remember watching that as a kid, like I want to be them.
yeah,
I want to have that much fun. And that's such the vibrant colors. It makes me feel like do the right thing. It's so well put together, and those little boys, they're so cute, like, and so cool. Like the music works so perfect. It's just it's a like yeah, it made me want a Pepsi. Like that commercials don't do that anymore. Whereas it's like yeah, this is just fun. Don't you want to be this? Don't you want to use this product? Like, sheesh. And that was wonderful. Like a little music video.
yeah. Again, it's just sort of a fun little, 90s time capsule. Like, oh yeah, this
Yeah.
is how, advertising was like. This was like the trends.
Yeah.
This was like the music, the editing style. I'm sure like younger generations would look at that and just think, that's just so corny. But it's fun. The only thing I wonder is like, given how Pepsi and Coke are rivals, how are they able to actually use Coke in that ad?
Hmm. Yeah. That is how, like, there's like a Coke. The guy,
Yeah.
the kid has yeah.
Yeah, the
I
other
I mean, yeah.
kid,
During the Cola Wars, I guess they were willing to fight, and yeah, they went after each other hard, and maybe they were willing to risk things like that at that time because the competition was what was allowing them to grow. So maybe it was like this ballsy loophole that they were like, actually, we can't, or maybe they changed the logo slightly or something, or
it
they
did
just
look like
didn't.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I think they just didn't give an F. and they were just like, let's do it. Come after us, Coke. Um, and it is Pepsi. This is another perfect way to open a movie or to get in the mood for Home Alone because you got you're getting your popcorn, you're getting your drinks at this time, you're going into the kitchen or whatever, um and and then Macaulay Culkin had like a he had a friendship with Michael Jackson who got burnt on the set of a Pepsi commercial. And then, like, it's just like there's everything's connected and everything's crazy, and it'll lead you down a rabbit hole um, that that Pepsi's involved in.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm gonna have to look up that Michael Jackson getting burned on
Yeah,
a Pepsi commercial. I did not know about that.
all of his problems, I don't can be traced back to him getting injured on a Pepsi commercial,
But
and
yeah,
the fact that he was good friends with Macaulay Culkin, and that they used Pepsi to open this is just looking back, knowing what we know now of what happened to these celebrities or what happened. It just gets the gears going of like, yeah, it was a completely different time where because now when I see that, I start thinking about well, maybe dark things or things that like, oh, that how did that play out? Interesting. And that's I guess that's the dark side of nostalgia and the interesting side of it too, of looking back and how do you see things now? Because it doesn't even matter your political beliefs when you see Donald Trump in Home Alone 2, whether you love him or hate him, you go, whoa, and it's like that is a different feeling uh than in 1991 or whatever it was, 1992. And that's the best part about looking back on VHS. You get to like it's proof that time is real, things go on, things change, and you get to see these things in a different perspective, just like watching Home Alone when you're an adult, it's an even better movie. Watching these commercials sometimes yeah, you get new thoughts. Sorry, I went on just a
oh no,
strange rant there, but
you're
it made sense to me. Uh,
no, you're completely fine. Actually, I was gonna also say though, like it's the perfect commercial to open up on Home Alone because it's like Home Alone, the whole franchise is basically like, as I mentioned back in my I helped make that video, like the whole franchise can be kind of seen as this like kid empowerment fantasy. And now here you
heck yeah,
have these like two cool kids, like, hey kids, don't you just want to be like these kids who are so
absolutely.
cool and hip and
It reminds me of yeah, back to this is why this is with the connection to Michael Jackson because there's that music video where Macaulay Culkin is in it, and he opens the music video. I think it's for Black and White or something, and he's wearing like those same type of glasses that those little boys are wearing, and he's just like these two just like awesome or three awesome little boys, just like this is how you rock, this is how you be cool, this is how you be a cool kid in the '90s, and yeah, it sets the mood perfect. You're totally right. Even though like Home Alone doesn't really have those like same kind of like musical vibes. Like John Williams ain't you know but it's the same energy, it's the same fun. And yeah, whoever put these together, Ferngully, American Airlines, and now this, they thought this through. They thought this through. Wonderful.
yeah. Now let's see if the same is true for Home Alone 2.
Oh,
That stars the most divisive man in America, and by that I mean Rob Schneider, of course.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, same thing could go for Rob Schneider. Yeah. Oh
Uh,
man.
but yes, let's, again, some people love Home Alone 2 just as much as the original. Some people, like we mentioned, think it's a lesser copy. Some love it even more. But let us see if the VHS openings have
Oh,
stood the test of time.
School's out, but kids everywhere are studying hard. What are you learning about?
Physics. Shop. Painting. Nutrition.
Here's your very own cheese pizza.
Yes.
Home Alone 2, rated PG. Now on sale wherever videos are sold.
It's a Home Alone Christmas from Fox Records.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Yes.
A very special collection of holiday songs sung by very special artists.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Begin a tradition in your family. Bring home the magic and the music of a Home Alone Christmas.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas. And I'm going home.
Available on audio cassette and compact disc this holiday season.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they didn't just do the usual, because I'm getting so sick of these doing this show, just do a commercial for literally just the soundtrack for Home Alone 2. Um, I don't know, like it does kind of seem like the CD is just like, we'll slap on the whole we'll call it a Home Alone Christmas, but we'll just put a bunch of Christmas songs in it.
Yeah,
Just
songs
can,
in or inspired by Home Alone, and
yeah, or
um,
I don't know if that's the thing. I have to look and see what like the songs are, because some of these it does kind of seem like it's just Christmas songs, and they just put like Home Alone like on the cover.
yeah, is John Williams' theme is? Can you listen to that, or is it just the some lovely Christmas tunes? But it is a good way, just advertising wise. It's two birds with one stone, because you get to advertise the movie for Home Alone 1 for while watching Home Alone 2 while advertising the soundtrack. Because even if you don't want to buy, if you don't want to buy the CD or the cassette, it still reminds you of, like, remember how good Home Alone 1 is, and maybe it would work on a level of getting people to go back and watch that again. Um, but it is a strange cover. The album cover art, or the CD cover art, is like this wild, like, I don't, like, Sergeant Pepper pop art, uh like everything's going everywhere all at once, and is with his face in the middle, like, and then you hear,
Yeah,
and it just feels like, is this now, that's what I call rockin' Christmas, or is this a nice little choir Christmas album that grandma can play in the background? I don't know what I'm getting with this. And yeah, that's what, like, but it made sense to open it with that.
yeah. The only thing is, I looked it up, and surprisingly, they didn't wait till next Christmas to release Home Alone on VHS.
No?
No, they actually released all three of them on VHS in the summer,
Okay.
from what I could find in my research. So it is kind of even though it's at least seasonally appropriate, because 98% of people are gonna wait until Christmas time to watch these on VHS.
Yeah. And I
It's
guess that's what they were counting on. They're like, we release them in the summer, we'll get the first batch of people buying them, then they'll watch it again in Christmas, and then other people, once Christmas is coming around, they're like, oh, we need to go buy this, and it's already there. But it just feels like, so that may make sense, economically or whatever. I don't know, but it does feel like Christmas things need to be released at Christmas time. Like, it
Yeah,
just feels wrong to me that Die Hard was released in the summer. Even though
yeah,
but no matter what, music really helps. Like we were saying, just get in the mood for watching a movie, and hearing these tunes, you're like, it just gets, maybe your brain doesn't realize it, or you don't realize it, but your brain is that you're getting ready. You're getting ready to watch a motion picture here. Kind of like how the orchestra used to play, before what was that called? The orchestra would play a little tune before the movie started back in the good old days. And um, what else we got in there?
American Airlines is proud to be a partner in the video release of Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. American salutes the many families who have made American Airlines something special in the air.
They did what we thought they did last time. This time they did the same ad, and this time they just reused clips from the original.
Yep. And which is I guess it's just them, covering their butts and just saying like, we get it, we have a sense of humor. Don't forget about us. We're not gonna lose your child. Just remember this fun, good movie. And at the end of the day, I think that's how the ad works. Because you watch that, you're not going to really think like, this is weird, and the irony here is strange. At the end of the day, it's all about fun, and it's a fun ad. You see them running through, the energy is there. You're reminded of the movie, and because it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a boring, straight up like American Airlines, and that's going to completely throw you off. Once again, getting into the mood to watch a movie, it doesn't feel like an ad, like when you're at the movie theater and they throw in a random ad for a credit card.
Yeah,
it makes sense for the movie. And it's showing the movie, and it's fun and the same energy, and it works. It is strange, but that's how they make money and do things in this Tinseltown world.
I mean, I do agree that it's at least nice they try to tie it back into the movie, but I kind of wish they did more to make it stand out from the last ad than just reusing the movie this time. This time they just reused the entire movie and then just said the same thing that they did last time. I kind of wish like they could have been a little more creative in like tying it back to the movie, but still not feeling like it's the same ad.
Yeah, they definitely could have had more fun with it, and I mean it could have. And nowadays they probably would, because it would have been like a YouTube series of like little ads of like the family on the plane and blah, 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 and they would have marketed it way too much. They would have milked the cow to it would have gotten annoying. But this it just is there for a moment. It does its thing, and then it's gone, and it moves on, and that's what the studio was trying to accomplish. He just like gets you in there. He makes you remember the brand. American Airlines, American Airlines. And then we move on to the movie. Not enough to annoy us, not enough to make us hate American Airlines. Because now when you watch, I still watch things with ads on streaming, and sometimes you get a little bit annoyed at Geico or whatever because it's
oh god,
constant. This was just enough where I still respect the company.
Yes. Yeah, YouTube ads, Netflix ads, streaming ads in general, and you watch the same thing over and over again, it gets so annoying.
Like, just American Airlines, in and out. We'll get you to your destination, just like we got to the destination of this ad, quickly and efficient. But yeah, how else does the movie start right after this, or what else happens?
We got one more ad.
Morning, I've got something here that's good for you. This time your kids will eat it. A cereal that gets its flavor from the bark of a tree. Don't worry, your kids will eat it. Actually, it tastes like a stick. A cinnamon stick. It's Cinnamon Life. Cinnamon Life has cinnamon sweetness baked on the inside, sprinkled on the outside. It tastes so cinnamon good, even extraordinarily sophisticated gourmets will eat it.
Why does Cinnamon Life taste so delicious? Because that was the idea.
Quaker Oat Life and Cinnamon Life taste so delicious, unless they're weird, your kids will eat it.
Yeah, that was way too precious and cutesy for me. Like, if
it's like
If the other ad felt like it was sort of aiming itself at kids, saying like, "Oh, look at how cool these kids are," this felt more like it was aimed at the parents, saying, "Oh, look at these cute little kids. Don't you just want to
Yeah,
pinch their cheeks?"
and 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 actually, yeah, I mean that's the for lack of a better word, smarter way to approach it because the parents are the ones buying the product. You know, and it shows like this is safe, this is fun. It's we're not gonna rock the boat. You just have this cereal in it, and it'll even though it's probably gonna ruin their bodies if they keep eating it for decades. But here it's nice and safe, and it works in its simplicity, just the way like it's just these simple little cuts, close-ups, cute faces, the music. It's so simple that it works for me on that level of like if of course yeah the Pepsi ad is more fun and as a kid yeah you want to hang out with them rather than eating cereal with these kids but as a just like a, as an editor I guess it has wonderful pacing. It's just like doo, 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 doo. And like the little kid. Oh, every little kid offers something slightly different, and they get their little moment. Not too much, and it's edited so well. They show you just enough that it works like a little poem. Um, I still don't want to eat the cereal. I'd rather drink the Pepsi. But as just like a short little story, if you look at it as a short film, it does tell this interesting story of how like if we all have this product here, we can have a fun time, and then at the end we all learn something. I don't know what that lesson is that we learned, but it has to do with this brand, and it sticks with you. And so later when you're going through the grocery store and you're like, "Mommy, that Pepsi." So they're going to remember that. But the mom is going to see the cereal and they'll get both. And Home Alone wins in the end. Everybody makes money. And they're robbing us all like the wet bandits. But this time we're wet with Pepsi and milk from spilt cereal.
Yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying. Like, it's a well edited commercial, but the only mo it just tried too hard to be cute, and the only thing I felt
It's
was,
not original. Like it does nothing new. No way. No way. Yeah, I,
yeah,
I agree with you there.
yeah, the only thing I thought worked on being cute was the one shot with the dog in the shirt. That I was actually awing at because I love dogs.
Yeah, that one worked well. That actually, you know what? Yeah, that without that shot, that one would make this stands out from because there are so many other that was just like the way you make cereal commercials. It's like how there's used car commercials. Like there's a way you make them, and this was following that formula. But yeah, throwing that dog in there makes it a little more punk rock, a little more fun. We get a
Yeah,
little crazy. This cereal's a little more crazy, but it's still safe, Mom. Don't worry. We're just putting sunglasses on a dog. We're not
yeah.
going to go too far. Um, and yeah, you remember those visuals. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the ultimate test here. I don't remember the name of the brand. I don't remember the name of the cereal. It
I
didn't
don't
work.
even, I think I don't even care really.
Yeah,
I
but
was so distracted by the overly precious tone of the ad.
yeah, you know what? Actually, the style of the ad distracted me because I'll remember the visuals. I'll remember the children.
I'll remember the dog.
I'll remember the dog, but they didn't spend the time with the brand at the end. Like American Airline. You remember, but I honestly, and it's because maybe I'm not like a cereal guy, but I honestly, my mind went Memento, Guy Pearce, and I don't remember the cereal's name. I need to tattoo it on me somewhere. It didn't work. Failure. Failure. But I love it. And then does the movie play right after that?
Well, that was the first two Home Alone movies. And now it is time for the question of the day, the question
Oh.
of every VHS era episode, which is skip to the feature or stay through the previews.
Mm.
The first one, I would say you can stay through the previews, I think. It's three solid previews. Um, the second one, I feel like there's starting to be diminishing returns. Personally, again, thought the cereal commercial was way too precious. The American Airlines one just too much, too just felt like they were kind of retreading the same thing. And I and honestly, just in general. And first one, stay through the previews. Second one, skip to the feature.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I say if it's your first time renting or watching the VHS, they all work to get you in the mood for the movie. But if you're watching it again, you don't need to see it in the second one. But it is nice to watch the Ferngully trailer again and that Pepsi commercial. Like, I agree with you. I agree with you. Watch the whole VHS, the trailers for number one. Two, just jump right in. Boom.
Yeah, but anyway, Taylor, do you have anything interesting to promote, Joblo or otherwise?
Yeah, we're still pumping out episodes of WTF. What the F happened to this celebrity? We've got a few working on right now. I guess it's going to be Dwayne the Rock Johnson. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have an episode on him. Um, and then I'm gonna be doing a video that involves the Zodiac, the killer, and the movie. And I'm working on a feature right now. Editing and still got a little bit to shoot. It's a fun and messed up movie about movies because that's all I know. But not really ready to tell anybody else anything more than that because it is a work in progress, which are the best kinds of work.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, movies is all I know as well. And speaking of that, next time we're going to be covering the grown-up version of Home Alone. No, not that grown-up Home Alone. The other grown-up Home Alone. We'll see you then, everyone.